What's up, college football fans? It's Sonoy Valente here with the Mean Green Show, and I'm joined here this evening with CJ Baskerville, San Diego State commit. CJ, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, man?
I'm doing really good, man. I'm doing really good. Hey, I really appreciate you coming on. I know you got a busy schedule and everything, but let's just kind of get into it, man. So, you're one of those guys. Once again, you held multiple Power 5 offers, from the likes of Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Duke, as well as others. Really, what made you decide to commit to San Diego State?
San Diego State kind of went into a lot of the relationship. So they offered me back in March, from what I remember, and they just haven't really stopped. They understood that they were stepping into a field with like Duke, Oklahoma State, and the Oregon State was later, but that didn't really faze them. They understood that they were not a Power 5, but
Right.
they're a great football program.
Right.
They're one of those really good, better ones that are, they're probably even better than some of the Power 5s. And,
Most definitely.
They did a good job, kind of like showing me where I would be in their defense and how I could be a center point and show what I could do early if things go well. And I think that's what they did a really good job of that. They took me on numerous of calls. Virtual visits, showing me around. Even one time, I said I wanted to see the campus, and he was like, okay. So he got on his iPhone and he FaceTimed and he walked around the whole campus.
Wow, is that your position coach that was doing that for you, or is that?
Yes, sir. Yep, Kyle Hoke. Yep.
Cool,
he did
man.
that with another coach, and to my parents, because they initially, they just okay, San Diego State is another offer.
Yeah.
And they saw that okay, wow, we need to actually. We should actually start, considering them. And then also what into account was they said they wouldn't, they weren't taking anybody else. So if I decided to not go with them, they would go to JUCO.
Right.
But they're going to be with me to the end, even if it was in February. And that really spoke volumes to me.
Yeah.
Over some other schools. And also, their defense as well. If I want to talk about their defense, their 3-3-5 stack is my favorite defense. And
is that what you ran in high school?
No, we ran a 4-2-5, but
okay.
I watched a lot of football, and I've actually went against a 3-3-5 stack because I even play offense as well, and I agree it's the hardest thing to go against, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And good teams such as Clemson, they run it as well. And that safety, that jack of all trades safety that they want to play, called the Aztec over there. I think that best suits me and what I can do on the field. And they were just that team that they run it well, and they have a player right now who's going to the NFL, Dwayne, who was at that position, and I saw what he was able to do, and I've talked to him, and he's even said he wasn't as athletic, he doesn't really have the size I do,
right?
He did great things there, and if I'm athletic, if I think I'm better in a better shape, then I can do a lot better. But he did an absolutely great job. I watch him all the time on Saturdays, and I think the sky's the limit for me over there.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So when you say they kind of they didn't hesitate and they stayed with you and stayed pretty consistent with you, how often were they touching base with you? Was it was it more than once a week? Was it once every other week? What kind of what kind of communication?
It was every week, and it wasn't just one coach. I would hear from a lot of coaches, a lot of personnel type of guys, analysts. Kyle Hoke was and then Coach Sam Peasy. They were really touching base with me, and Coach Maddox, who's a defensive coordinator and linebackers coach over there. But I'd say Coach Hoke and the head coach, Coach Hoke, they really kept in touch with me. Even through the season, they knew about my injury. They were they didn't even I thought they would think okay, maybe we should hold up, but they didn't even think about it. They're that doesn't really matter to us. We still want you, but we hope all is well. They kept checking in with me and see how it's going. See how rehab's going, and it was just really every week, and it was multiple times a week. So probably 2 or 3 times a week.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. One thing that's kind of interesting to me, I keep up with the G5 world. My squad's North Texas. Go Mean Green. We're not, not where we want to be, but I keep up with G5 nonetheless. And just what happens all the time with a lot of G5 schools is, they'll have guys that are committed to them verbally, and they'll get a Power 5 that comes in late, and they'll flip, and then it doesn't really work out a lot of times, honestly.
Yep.
But you, on the other hand, you had the Power Fives early, and you just touched on it earlier as far as knowing that San Diego wasn't the Power Five, but they may be better than a lot of Power Fives, which I agree with you wholeheartedly there, wholeheartedly. But you're a Metroplex kid, and for those of you guys that don't know what the Metroplex is, when we reference it, that's the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Obviously a very fertile recruiting ground. And Oklahoma State, it's not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but that's not that far. And Oklahoma State's a great program, man. How did how did you not get just caught up in that hype and just I'm just going to go up there? Really what made you that kept you grounded and ultimately led to that, what I think is a mature and a great decision on your end.
Well, because Oklahoma State was the first school that offered me,
right?
So I thought really big on them because even though it was a Power Five and it was a Big 12 school, and it wasn't just any Big 12 school, it's always
it's a better one.
It's one of the front runners for the Big 12 championship. So I was really high on them. I visited them one time before they actually offered me, and I went 2 more times after that. And I kind of thought about the point of committing. But my mother had said, I didn't really define. I was just like thinking about it. And like my mom she's like, hey, like, like you're very new to this process. Like we're all really new to this. I think you should give it some time. So I did. I gave my my mother the benefit of the doubt, and I
Mama knows.
And I always kept talking to them, but then I started understanding different things. Like at the time when I was thinking, I wasn't really thinking about like when I would play or where like stuff like that, And so as I got smarter in the recruiting process, I was like, okay, like Oklahoma State's a good program, and like let's compare them close to them, And so I was kind of like doing that all throughout my recruiting process. And a lot of people, they wanted me to. There are a lot of Oklahoma State fans that are around here,
Absolutely,
like 3.5, 4 hours away. And I honestly thought about it. I've always thought about all the schools, to be honest, even North Texas.
Yeah,
and it's just
shout out.
I
had my fingers crossed for you, CJ. I'm not gonna lie, man. I am not gonna lie to you, man.
My defensive coordinator went to North. He played at North Texas.
Man.
So
you're killing me.
He was right there. And my safeties coach with the North Texas too. So there's 2 coaches in my ear about North Texas, but they never forced anything. But I don't know. I just kind of prayed, and I just waited for that sign. That God would give me a sign, or just give me a feeling, some strong feeling that okay, I need to go to this place. And December 8th is when I committed. Came back from school, and I was just talking with my coach Cates, and I was like, I think I want to go to San Diego State. I think, and I explained to him what were like the positives, of it, and like what I can get out of it. And honestly, and to this day, like I think it was the right decision. I don't think it'll ever change like that. I've evaluated all the schools, and I mean all 10 of them. And San Diego State was definitely the best option for me, I believe, and I stand 100% by that, and so does my family.
That's awesome, man. And obviously that's a huge decision to make, and everybody should do their due diligence. And just by talking to you, man, I can really tell that you and your family really, did just that. You definitely checked all the boxes, and that's just awesome, man. That's awesome. All right, kind of moving on a little bit here. So, did you happen to catch the Cincinnati Georgia game by chance?
I did catch this. I watched it. Yep, I watched.
Yeah, that was a game, man. And Cincy definitely belonged there. And you go into a G5 school, man. Do you have any thoughts on the NCAA, expanding the playoffs potentially?
I actually so whenever I don't really know about the expanding of the playoffs,
right?
So if you could
nobody does. No. Yeah. So obviously it's the 4 teams now. The 4 go to the college football playoffs, and this past year was Notre Dame, Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State.
Yep.
And we kind of saw what happened to Notre Dame. They got skull dragged by Bama, just like everybody did, man. Just like Ohio State did. So there's a lot of us G5 guys that we're just kind of like expand that to 8 or maybe even 16, and if those schools can go in and get embarrassed by Bama. Why can't a G5 and, get that national exposure, and not to mention the financial gain that comes from it? And, but yeah, I mean, do you have any thoughts on if you think they should, or you think they should keep it at 4, or?
I do believe that, because I think a lot can happen. Because as we expand the games, I think a lot can happen.
You can get hot, yeah.
Oh yeah, because I've been, Texas football playoffs. For high schools, a lot of things happen. You'll have some upsets, and I think for everybody's viewing, I think everybody wants that. Like you want to see like the Cincinnati's and the Georgias go against each other for games just like that. Because I mean, if like let's say if you take a like a G5 and they go against a Power 5,
right.
And even recruits watching, and they're like, "Oh my God, this G5, they offered me, and like they're doing pretty good. Like they're whooping right now." So
you're preaching, man.
Like that, if that happens, I think a lot more players will understand like G5 and Power 5. There are a lot of similarities. There's a lot more similarities than there are differences, and that's what I saw.
For sure.
I think if we expand that, or if they expand it, I think a lot of that can happen. Especially if it's two G5s who are even in there, you get national exposure. It's a financial thing too, and you get money from these bowl games and in these extra games. So I think that's a great idea if the NCAA would do that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that very well spoken, man. Very well spoken, man. You should you may have to make that case. We need to get you in their ears, man. That was good. But yeah, I totally agree with you. So kind of, another thing. So, 24/7 has you listed as a safety, but you also did some stuff at wide receiver. You put up over 1,300 yards, or put up 1,300 yards receiving, as well as 11 TDs. Has there been any talk about you possibly doing that as far as playing a little wide receiver at San Diego State, or were you going to be fully committing as that at that? What would you call it, the Aztec position, that Jack Aztec? Yeah.
So I had actually, when I got offered, they looked at my film. So there was both receiver and safety stuff on there, and it was actually like a Twitter text message like, "Hey, like we want to offer you your film, like it's great." And there's been like talks, like I was committing for safety, and whenever they like watch me weekly, of like my stats. Like they'll see like a good bit of tackles, but they'll see like 178 receiving yards. Like they're like wait, hold on. And so like their wide receiver coach and the offensive coordinator kind of like poke at me like, hey, like if you want to like come play some offense, I'm like, you can. But I think I'm going to be playing safety now. Not saying anything can literally happen. Like if you're like, hey, like like you're really good at the receiver stuff. Like you need to go over there.
Yeah.
But for now, most of 100%, I'll be going there for safety.
Yeah.
And again, anything can happen, but I'm 90% sure that I'll just be playing safety over there.
Are you kind of looking forward to like focusing on one position and being able to,
I am, because there'll be times during practice, like their high school practice, I'll be in DB mode, they're like, okay, go over to offense. I'm like, like I got to run some routes, and get some drills. But yeah, no, I think definitely like me just focusing on that one position, good, especially since I've always focused on one position until my junior year. I had to play both. It was definitely different, but I learned a lot from it. Like
I bet you did. Yeah.
I think I got better playing both because I understood one side of the ball from the other. So when I was playing defense, I understood what the receivers are. I was playing offense, I knew what the DB was thinking as I was doing my releases and like stuff like that. So I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, awesome, man. So what kind of safety is San Diego State getting with you, man? Like, what's your game?
They're getting a very versatile safety from the 52, 54 yards, one end to the other, 100 yards. I think I can play all around. If you want to put me in the box, I can definitely fill in the box. I've done that for Richland. If you want me to play up top, I can as well. And even man on man. Even sometimes, when we're game planning for like people. Now we had some great receivers in this Metroplex, and sometimes they want me to go play some corner. Against some receivers. So I believe I'm able to guard from out to in, so that's like outside receiver slots to tight ends, running backs maybe, and do the same thing. And I'm able to blitz as well. I think my blitzing ability is pretty good. I'm able to I have some blitz moves, dip in the shoulder and stuff like that. I understand that I've I watch different plays. I watch some linebackers like Von Miller,
Yeah.
and people like that. I watch a lot of positions because a lot of it, you're all gonna be doing the same thing sometimes, and I think the versatility is the best way to put it, because you're able to put me on the field, and it's like you have to take me off for a certain package. Like I can convert to that other position rather than having me to sub off. Like, okay, if I'm at high safety and they need me to go play nickel, I can go over to nickel. And if I'm at nickel and they need me to go fit in the box, I can definitely just walk a couple steps over and play the box. And that's the main thing that I think is my strength. I'm able to play, all throughout the field.
Man, remind me, man, what's your height and weight right now?
My height and weight, I'm 6'2.5", so 6'3", but like I'd say my real 6'2.5".
Sure.
And right now I'm sitting
6'3" on a good day.
Yeah, and right now I am sitting at 194.
Dang, man. I mean, good God. Well, yeah, you could do it all right there. I mean, they could, not that I think they will, but I mean, they could build on you, put you at linebacker. I mean, that's awesome, man. That's a, that's a lengthy athlete right there that they're going to build on. That's cool. Have you decided what you want to major in yet?
Yes, sir. Bioengineering.
Bioengineering?
Yes, sir.
And you're going to play football?
Yes. My parents were like, hey, you have a more than $300,000 scholarship. Like, you need to set your bars high. And and hopefully if you get that major, if you get that degree, and that dude, you're set. You're set for both things. And if you don't, you can always choose something else. And but they don't want me to like pick something that's that's not really going to test me. Like I'm not
right.
But I'm not really wasting, but like I can do more. And I fully understood that. So that's why when I was taking bioengineering, because it's something I'm fascinated in, and I can make it. And if football doesn't work out, which football always dies out, which
for sure,
you have a wonderful degree that's sitting behind you waiting. And
absolutely.
So that's why I'm choosing it, and I'm really fascinated in it. There's a lot of things you can be. You can be a doctor, a scientist, or just a regular engineer with it, but. You can start a lot of things. You can create a lot of machines that can help the human body get back to where it needs to be, or make it or improvement. So yeah, that is what I will be doing.
That's
I'll
cool,
go
man.
through with that. Yeah.
Do you have any idea where you want to take that? I mean, you did mention a few things, but is there anything specific that you're leaning to as of now, or are you kind of leaving it open?
I'm kind of leaving that open, say what I want to do in it.
Right.
I've always been kind of fascinated. Like I want to create, like different types of medical tools and machines and like ways to improve the human body. So if there's like a way I can, when I study and I, get some ideas popping up, I can do so. And then also, just like helping people, like just being like a doctor, and like, suggesting different things like using fish scales to help heal your skin with a bad burn. That's that's kind of a great. That's a big that's like a big sample or example of what bioengineering is. Like they had administrated that, and that's what they did.
That's cool, man. And if I could put my own 2 cents in there, if you have the opportunity to take a class in this, I think you should look into it, man. But I think you'd be a good sports broadcaster just by talking to you, man.
Sports broadcaster.
Yeah, just put that in the back, okay? Put that in the back. Yeah. File that away, all right? That one's for free, all right? You don't have to pay me. But that's cool, man. That's super cool. Who do you feel like your game is most like?
I would say Buda Baker.
He's a physical guy.
He is a physical guy, and that's kind of who I study. I study him and Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams and Buda Baker are kind of like the same. They do different things for their teams because of their defensive schemes.
Right.
But Buda Baker, man, if there's anyone that flies all over the field, it's him. Like I watched them play the Seahawks, and I just wanted to see like the matchups, and I just remember him coming. He reads, runs, and passes so well. Like, the run fakes, he understands the run fake before, like, the whole defense does. And he's able to trigger off of that. And also, he's able to play up on some tight ends. And I understand that that's a big thing. The NFL is looking for bigger DBs who are able to man up on people like Travis Kelce, George Kittle. People like that. And that's where Cam Chancellor, he was really good at that. And Tyrann Mathieu was also really good at that. And those are kind of like those physical DBs, not so much just over the top, but like put me at the linebacker position or put me blitzing off the edge, or I can even just play man on you. Those are kind of the players I resemble myself as. But for a definite size wise, I think I might go with Cam Chancellor because he's like 6'3", like 210,
Right.
220.
Yeah, that's right up your alley.
Yeah, and then Buda Baker for like his style of play, him just reading outside sweeps and him just triggering it hard.
Yeah. That's cool, man. You do anything this offseason to get ready for next year?
This
Specifically?
Specifically, man, I'm getting with my trainers as soon as I heal up on this. Whenever my 2 months are done, just healing up on my fibula.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my trainers right away. We're gonna.
What do they have you do?
They have me do a lot of short area quickness.
Okay.
College football. High school you might have some more margin of error, but college football is not the place for it. And especially with Clay Mack, we always say we train for the league. We don't train for college. We train for the league.
Yeah.
And
where you guys train at?
We train over in Carrollton.
Okay.
Yeah, we train over in Carrollton. Sometimes in Dunksville. It just depends where where he is.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, we just try to clean that stuff up, and especially being a bigger guy, especially it's more critical for me. And if I can get those things down, then the sky's the limit. Because if they see a 6'3" type of guy that moves really well, then they're gonna want him. They're gonna want him in a lot of places, making a lot of plays. So that's what we work on. And it's really not so much it's like more of like a reps type of thing. It's like quality reps, not doing this drill, then this drill, then that drill. Like we'll be on a drill for an hour if we have to, but we're gonna get it right. And that's the type of people that I want to train with.
That's awesome.
Whenever I heal up, so I have like about 2 more weeks, and then we're gonna start hitting it over there. But other than that, I've been lifting, trying to get my weight back up from the season because you lose some.
For sure.
And I've done a good job of that. I've been like working out every day, taking the right type of supplements, proteins, eating right, trying to get my body back to where it needs to be. Or whenever I go off to college, there's gonna be work that needs to be done, but I want to make that margin as small as I can. So I've
got your head on straight.
Yeah, I've asked some players like what they wish they did. And most of all of them said, "Hey, like I wish I got my body right before I left off, and like I wish I did some stuff before." And I'm like, okay, then I need to like start. And I decided that right after and I asked that before the season ended. So right when the season ended, I knew what I needed to do. I got a gym membership like literally off the bat. So like the following week, and then we started getting our supplements again. And so like I eat every 2 hours, but only rice. I don't eat really that fats, like stuff like that. Only proteins, carbs, stuff like that. Because what I've learned is I've been around some great strength coaches, and you can eat fats, but kids don't typically know the type of fats that they need.
Exactly.
And so you're better off kind of eating like those. Okay, it's protein, it's carbs, and if you're gonna eat carbs, just make sure that it's every 2 hours because those tend to burn a lot quicker, especially for an 18-year-old kid.
Absolutely,
burn very fast. So and then making type of I'll consume my because I'll work out at night sometimes. Like I'll do like my ab workouts, stuff like that, and then I'll get a protein shake down because I understand that like whenever you sleep, you lose some weight because your body's trying to rebuild, and so I'll consume that, and that's kind of what we've been doing over the past month and a half.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you're gonna be glad you did when you show up, man, and your coaches are gonna be glad you did too. One last question, man. You Madden player?
I am a Madden player. Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Who you play with?
That's how you learn. I play.
That's right. That's right.
My favorite team that I play with, I like using the Bucks. I think they're the most. I don't like using the Chiefs because I'm not that type of guy.
Yeah.
There's too many mismatches on that team.
Yeah, I'm a Chiefs user.
My friends will use them, and I like using the Bucks. But it's kind of fun, like trying to find ways to like shove people like Tyreek Hill, and because it just makes you smarter. Like it just makes you like how to do certain type of stuff. That's kind of like the real reason I play Madden all the time. If there's a game, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be Madden, and if not 2K, then we'll move on to Call of Duty. But I get too mad at that. There's a lot of people who take that game too seriously. But I use the Bucks.
You go 3-3-5 with them?
Yes, I actually do. I do go 3-3-5, and then I will. It's just depending on the QB. Like if I have like somebody like Lamar, I'm gonna have them contain the outsides. it just depends how they play. Like if they run the ball, first, second down, I'm probably gonna go 4-3, and then once we get to that third down, I'm gonna go to that 3-3-5, that nickel package or dime, and then I'm gonna contain the outsides, and then I'll use the middle linebacker or sometimes the safety for in cover 3. I'll use the safety because he's that curl flat player, so I'm able to play over the middle, and it's just kind of what I do.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, hey, man, that about wraps it up, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your time, especially with your busy schedule that you just laid out for us. Once again, guys, this is the Mean Green Show. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And San Diego State fans, I think you have a lot to be excited about with Mr. Baskerville here. Baskerville. I think he's going to be something special, and we all need to tune in and watch this man at San Diego State. And, once again, man, just thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
See you, man.